Have you ever just stopped and wondered why you spent the last hour scrolling through your feed? Or why you absolutely cannot miss a single episode of that one show? Well, it might feel like a simple, random choice, but there's actually a really powerful theory that explains exactly what's going on. It's called the Uses and Gratifications Theory, and trust me, it completely flips the script on who you think is in control.
For the longest time, the general idea was, yeah, pretty much, that media was this all-powerful force and we were all just sitting ducks taking it all in. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if you're the one who's actually in the driver's seat?
To really get this, we've got to take a quick look back at the old way of thinking, this idea that media had this almost hypnotic, direct line into our brains.
Okay, so this chart lays it all out perfectly. The old-school mechanistic view saw us, the audience, as totally passive. We just reacted to whatever the media served up. It was a one-way street. But the uses and gratifications perspective, let's call it U and G, just blows that up. It says, no, we are active, we are goal-directed. And any influence the media has is filtered through our own needs and wants. We're not just sponges soaking it all up.
Now, this massive shift in thinking didn't just happen out of nowhere. It came from a simple but honestly revolutionary idea. Maybe researchers had been asking the wrong question all along.
And there it is. That's the pivot. Instead of what is media doing to us, it became what are we doing with media. That one simple change in perspective turned everything on its head. It put the power right back where it belongs, with you, the person holding the remote or the phone.
And that brings us right to the heart of the uses and gratifications theory. It's all about mapping out the journey from an internal feeling we have to the specific show we decide to watch.
So here's the breakdown of how it works. It all starts with us. We have some kind of social or psychological need, right? Maybe we're bored or lonely, or we just need to understand what's happening in the world. That need creates an expectation. We expect that some form of media can help us out. So we engage in a pattern of media use. We turn on the news, we scroll social media, and hopefully that leads to gratifying the original need. It's a cycle that we start and we control.
In fact, this whole theory really just rests on 5 basic assumptions that all point to you being in charge. Let's run through them.
Okay, so first, we use media on purpose, not just by accident. Second, we're the ones actively choosing what to watch or read to meet our needs. Third, our personality and our social situations guide what we pick. Fourth, and this one is so important, media has to compete. Sometimes calling a friend is just a better way to feel connected than watching a sitcom. And fifth, when it comes down to it, we, the audience, are usually the more powerful players in this game.
Now, this doesn't mean we're always some sort of super focused, 100% engaged media consumer. The theory is a little more nuanced than that. Our level of activity actually changes all the time.
Exactly. It's not an on or off switch. It's much better to think of our activity like a dimmer dial. You know, sometimes we're dialed all the way up, completely focused, and other times we're dialed way down. It all depends on what we're trying to accomplish in that moment.
This slide breaks down the 2 main modes we operate in. First, you've got instrumental use. Think of this as using media like a tool. You're actively hunting for specific information, like looking up a recipe or searching for a particular news story. It's totally purposeful. But then there's ritualized use. And let's be real, this is a big one. This is about habit. It's using media just to pass the time or as a distraction. This is that classic doom scrolling or just having the TV on in the background for company.
So take a second. Seriously, think about it. The last thing you watched or read or scrolled through, were you on a mission or was it more of a habit, a ritual? All right, understanding the why and the how is one thing, but what about the actual effects? How does the way we use media change the impact it has on us? So here's the twist. You might think that being a really active, instrumental user makes you immune to influence, but it can actually be the complete opposite. Because you're paying closer attention and you're more involved, the messages can sink in deeper and have an even stronger effect. Your motivation totally shapes the outcome. Now, this can sometimes lead to something called media dependency. This is what happens when a particular show or app or podcast gets really good at meeting one of your needs and you don't really have any other options. For someone who feels isolated, a political talk show might become their main source of social connection, creating a real dependency on it. And that dependency can lead to one of the most fascinating things in all of media studies, parasocial interaction. This is that very real but one-sided feeling of friendship that we develop with people on a screen. You know, a YouTuber, a news anchor, a character in a show. You feel like you know them, even though, of course, they have no idea who you are. And I'm sure you recognize this feeling.
It's when you actually look to a media figure for advice, or you talk about them like they're a friend, or you find yourself imagining what it would be like to hang out with them. This isn't just a silly little thing, it's a genuine psychological connection, and it comes directly from the choices you make and how engaged you are.
So let's wrap this all up. What does all of this really mean for us today, in a world that is just overflowing with choices?
With literally endless streaming services, social feeds, and websites all fighting for a piece of your brain, this theory isn't just some academic exercise. It's a survival guide. Just understanding why you're about to open an app or click on a video, that alone gives you the power to be more conscious about your choices.
So let's recap the big ideas. Number 1, you are an active consumer, not a passive victim. Number 2, you use media to satisfy real needs. Number 3, your reason for watching or listening directly shapes how it affects you. And maybe the most important takeaway of all, understanding your own motivations is the ultimate key to taking back control of your media life.
So the next time you pick up your phone or turn on your TV, you'll have this new lens to see it all through. You're not just consuming content, you're trying to satisfy a need. The only real question left is, what's the need you're trying to meet, and is this the best way to do it?